In a political landscape where public figures are expected to face tough questions and defend their views, Donald Trump appears to be running scared. His refusal to engage in high-profile interviews, coupled with Kamala Harris's sharp, no-nonsense debate style, has sent shockwaves through the political world. After Harris's public takedown of Trump during their 2020 debate, where she left him humiliated before millions of viewers, Trump has been on the defensive, hiding from media scrutiny and avoiding tough questions. As we dig deeper into the situation, it's becoming clear that Trump is now playing it safe, hoping to shield himself from the backlash of being fact-checked or embarrassed on live television. But in a world where politicians are under constant public scrutiny, is Trump's strategy of hiding from tough questions really helping him? Or is it backfiring, making him look weak and afraid? This video explores how Trump's apparent fear of tough interviews is a clear sign of panic mode, and why Kamala Harris continues to dominate the political scene with her unapologetic and bold leadership. We'll also examine how Trump's attempts to manipulate public perception are falling flat, and why his refusal to face the press is drawing ridicule from political opponents and the public alike. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to reaching 1,000 subscribers, but we can't do it without you. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe right now. And if you're already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know your thoughts. All right, let's dive right into it. Trump's withdrawal from interviews. What's behind it? Donald Trump's pattern of avoiding tough interviews and fact-checking is nothing new, but it has become more pronounced since his 2020 presidential campaign. The final nail in the coffin seems to have been the infamous debate between then Vice President Kamala Harris and Trump, where Harris did what no one else had managed to do: completely humiliate Trump on a national stage. In the aftermath of that public embarrassment, Trump's team has provided shifting and increasingly flimsy explanations for his withdrawal from media engagements. Initially, Trump's camp claimed that he refused to participate in interviews because networks were fact-checking his statements. This excuse, however, didn't hold up for long. After all, fact-checking is standard in modern journalism. Trump's reluctance to undergo the scrutiny of a fact-check makes it seem like he is unwilling or unable to defend his words. It also raises the question, what does Trump have to hide? Later, Trump's team tried to pivot, suggesting that Trump was insulted and angered by his treatment during past interviews, specifically citing a perceived humiliation by Kamala Harris in the 2020 debate. This was the final public confrontation that left Trump visibly shaken, and since then, his avoidance of real interviews has only deepened. Trump's refusal to face the music has led many to speculate that he is too afraid to risk being humiliated again. Kamala Harris's debate smackdown, a turning point. Let's go back to that now famous moment in the 2020 vice presidential debate when Kamala Harris skillfully dismantled Trump's claims and publicly called him out for his lies. On stage, Harris was calm, composed, and direct, while Trump floundered, unable to offer any coherent defense against her razor-sharp critiques. Millions of viewers tuned in to watch Harris call out Trump's misinformation, while Trump was left sputtering with baseless denials. Harris's performance that night struck a nerve with Trump. Since then, he has seemed far less willing to subject himself to public scrutiny, particularly in interviews where he could be challenged. In contrast, Kamala Harris has gone from strength to strength. Harris's debate performance made headlines and solidified her reputation as a fearless leader, unafraid to speak truth to power. And with every move Trump makes to avoid public confrontation, Harris's political stock rises. Trump's inability to recover from Harris's smackdown has led to a broader retreat. He stopped appearing on major networks that are likely to ask tough questions, instead opting for friendly interviews on platforms like Fox News, where he can avoid difficult discussions and stick to rehearsed talking points. Trump's avoidance of a direct confrontation is a far cry from the brash, combative image he cultivated during his first campaign. Instead of confronting his opponents head-on, Trump is hiding behind a wall of excuses, unable to face the tough questions that define leadership. The media's reaction, ridicule and mockery. The media's reaction to Trump's retreat has been one of widespread mockery. Major networks, including CNN and MSNBC, have openly called out Trump's refusal to engage with the press. In a particularly memorable moment, Howard Stern took a jab at Trump during his radio show, calling him out for avoiding tough interviews and suggesting that Trump is simply afraid of being embarrassed again. Stern's pointed remarks triggered an angry response from Trump, who lashed out at the legendary radio host on Truth Social, calling Stern a beta male and accusing him of being biased towards Harris. But Trump's rage-filled response only served to make him look weaker. Instead of rising above the criticism, Trump's outburst only confirmed what many in the media had already suspected. He is panicked and defensive. His refusal to participate in high-profile interviews and his attacks on figures, like Howard Stern, have made him the subject of ridicule, with many observers noting that Trump appears to be more focused on nursing his bruised ego than answering important questions. In contrast, Kamala Harris has faced the media head-on, accepting interview invitations from major networks and talk shows, including 60 Minutes and The View. Harris's media blitz has been a sharp contrast to Trump's evasive behavior, with Harris confidently addressing tough questions on topics ranging from foreign policy to domestic issues. While Trump hides behind his Truth Social account, Harris continues to command the spotlight, demonstrating a level of poise and resilience that her opponent sorely lacks. The importance of facts. Trump's war on truth. One of the primary reasons why Trump has withdrawn from interviews is his ongoing battle with the truth. Trump's presidency was characterized by a consistent pattern of misinformation, and his post-presidential career has been no different. His refusal to be fact-checked during interviews is a telling sign that Trump knows his statements won't stand up to scrutiny. Instead of correcting his course or admitting fault, Trump has chosen to avoid tough questions altogether, hoping that his base will remain loyal regardless of his unwillingness to engage with the truth. For example, during a recent debate, J.D. Vance, a staunch Trump ally, complained about the rules requiring fact-checking. Vance's frustration with being corrected on live television is emblematic of a broader trend within the Republican Party, where figures like Trump and Vance balk at the idea of accountability. Republicans have increasingly taken offense at the idea of being corrected on their falsehoods, particularly when it happens in front of millions of viewers. This war on truth reached a fever pitch when Trump pushed false claims about immigration during his campaign. Trump falsely suggested that Haitian immigrants were responsible for killing pets in Springfield, Ohio, a claim that was quickly debunked by the city manager. Despite the lack of evidence, Trump continued to push the baseless story, further fueling anti-immigrant sentiment. Yet, when asked to provide proof of his claims, Trump evaded the question, preferring to double down on his misinformation rather than face the facts. In contrast, Kamala Harris has remained committed to truth and transparency. Her interviews have been grounded in fact, and she has consistently called out Trump and his allies for spreading lies. Harris has also made it clear that leadership is about more than just rhetoric. It's about taking responsibility for the truth, something Trump seems incapable of doing. Trump's fear of tough questions, a sign of weakness. At the heart of Trump's avoidance of tough interviews is fear. Fear of being exposed, fear of being fact-checked, and fear of being humiliated once again. This fear has manifested itself in Trump's refusal to engage in meaningful dialogue with the press and his preference for carefully controlled environments where he won't be challenged. But in a political climate that demands accountability, Trump's strategy of avoidance is making him look weak, not strong. Compare this with Kamala Harris, who has not shied away from difficult questions. Harris's ability to face criticism head-on has only strengthened her political standing, while Trump's refusal to do the same has made him appear increasingly isolated. Leadership is about more than just making speeches or holding rallies. It's about being able to handle criticism, answer tough questions, and stand up for your beliefs. Trump's failure to do so is a clear sign that he is in panic mode, trying to protect his fragile ego rather than show real leadership. In the end, Donald Trump's strategy of avoiding tough questions is backfiring. Instead of looking strong and confident, Trump appears weak and fearful. His refusal to face Kamala Harris or engage in meaningful interviews with the press has only solidified his image as a leader in retreat. Meanwhile, Harris continues to dominate the political scene, proving that true leadership requires the ability to confront difficult questions and stand up for what's right. Trump may think that hiding from the press will protect him from further embarrassment, but in reality, it is only making him look like he's afraid to face the truth. As the 2024 election approaches, voters will be looking for a leader who isn't afraid to answer tough questions. And right now, it seems that Kamala Harris, not Donald Trump, is the one stepping up to the plate.